Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Keith Andrew Network. I am your host, Keith Andrew. Along here is a good friend of mine, Mr. Lewis. And I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, man.
Now, for people who want to know what Keith Andrew Network is, basically, it's my way of showing people that even with having a learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into a perfect example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities, that you should never give up or have people label you, and you should prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you want to be. So that being said, half hour, 40 minutes of your time, you have as much time as you like. The theme of the shows for my episodes is uncensored, freedom of speech, freedom of self-expression, so you can say anything you want. You can drink if you want. You can smoke if you want. I have no control over what you do. You got to express yourself how you are. And that makes it more fun. It makes it more interesting.
Sure.
So just being more real.
Of course.
Now, starting off, what can you tell us about yourself?
Well, my name's JesseStLouis. I'm an actor. I live in Hollywood right now in Los Angeles. I'm from New York originally. Grew up in New York, but I lived in Florida for 10 years before I moved to California. I met my wife in Florida, and she's kind of been a catalyst for me to appreciate traveling. So I've done a lot of traveling since I met her, and a lot of outdoor adventures and hiking, and we trekked in the Himalayas of Nepal, and we traveled around India and Thailand and Malaysia. And since I've been in LA, I've really wanted to get back to that. So I'm kind of thinking about possibly putting the acting on the back burner and maybe trying to do some more traveling and maybe doing some YouTube videos while I travel and stuff like that. But that's kind of in the not too distant future, but maybe within the next 6 months to a year.
No, absolutely. Now, I saw that you have your own channel.
Yeah.
Now, how can people follow you on your channel? Are you on, what's your name for your YouTube?
My YouTube is JesseStLouis. And then you'll recognize it's me because it's black and white headshot of a bald guy. And then on the picture it says actor, traveler, smartass, which is kind of like my tagline. I'm also on Twitter at InfamousJSL. I'm on Instagram. I got a pretty big Instagram following. I just hit 20,000, which is cool. At InfamousJSL as well. I also have my own website, JesseStLouis.com. I still have some room on my Facebook. I'm up to like almost 4,000 friends on Facebook. So, you know, the next 1,000 people you can get in under the wire because they cut you off at 5,000. But I'm all over the internet. If you just Google my name, you figure out a way to get a hold of me.
No, absolutely. Now, the next question while we're on social media is one, does social media play a big part in your roles of doing whatever you're doing? Number one. And number two, you know, I'm jealous because I've been working my ass off for 3 years and I just have like 100, maybe 400 people. But you have a couple thousand. And I'm like, well, what am I doing wrong?
Well, I would say, first of all, you're probably not doing anything wrong. I was not a big fan of social media.
Right.
I joined all of that stuff late. I joined it primarily for acting. When I was living in Florida, I wasn't on any of that stuff. And a friend of mine, an actor friend of mine, Raul Colon, who does a lot of work in Florida, and I did a movie with him, and hopefully that movie will be coming out this year, Catching Junior Tate. Raul plays a hitman, and he's trying to kill me. We have a big fight scene at the end. It's actually pretty cool, but he's a great guy. And he told me that he got a lot of acting work from Facebook. And this was like 2014. So this was like a little over 2 years ago. That's when I first joined Facebook. And then I didn't do Twitter or Instagram until I moved to LA, which was later in 2014. And really the Instagram, I've only been trying to build that up since last January. So really only 6 months. And the only reason I'm doing that is because right now in LA, in Hollywood, they're saying you have to have your social media built up. And they're even saying, like, if you don't have at least 50,000 followers, you can't even audition for some of these movies and some of these TV shows, and it's a little ridiculous. But, you know, I only have 20,000, which, you know, to you that might sound like a lot, but to someone who's casting a movie or a TV show, that's not even enough to audition because they want a minimum of 50,000 followers, and they're doing that so that they can get free advertising for their movie or their TV show or whatever they're doing, because you have all those built-in followers. So really, I'm primarily doing it for, you know, for my acting career. And I've stepped up YouTube. I've been doing a lot more YouTube stuff because, like I said, that's my goal, is to travel and make travel videos. So I've been doing that, like local trips around LA, outside of LA, hiking and backpacking and looking for waterfalls and stuff around this area, and trying to learn how to edit and shoot because I'm used to being in front of the camera. When I was like in junior high, I used to make like little horror movies with my friends on Long Island and stuff like that. But that was back on like the big VHS tapes and stuff like that. But that was, you know, almost 25 years ago. So I'm learning the new cameras. I just bought a new GoPro, learning how to edit, and hopefully I'll have a new video up this week of a trip. We just took an awesome trip over 4th of July up to Big Sur, and we found our own private waterfall. And it had this crystal clear pool that you could swim in, and the water was cold, but it was refreshing.
No, absolutely. And before we jump around, you did bring up a lot of things. And to be honest, I got into an argument with someone yesterday. She was a CEO of her own company. She was on Facebook, so it's hit and miss if she was real or if she was fake. But the argument was that she would only be on my show if I had a couple million people, a couple hundred people follow me. And it's kind of like, you understand I have a learning disability. Yes, okay. You understand that, okay, you're making a new friend out of it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's really not catching anyone, okay. But, you know, I have a learning disability. This is a good message. This is a good cause. But you will only be on my show if I pay you for your time, or if you have a lot of followers. So, I don't know, she was crazy anyway.
Well, some people, you know what I think, unfortunately, the one thing about social media that I don't like is it gives people kind of like these inflated egos and the sense of entitlement. They think that because they have whatever these followers or whatever they have, like, that's my biggest problem with it. Honestly, if it wasn't required to try and be an actor and to audition, I wouldn't have it because I like to keep to myself. I would probably still do the YouTube stuff, but Twitter and Instagram, I probably wouldn't do Facebook either because, you know, I just feel like there's a big problem in our society today of people being fake. You know, a lot of that stuff is fake. People pretending, oh, that's how I live, that's my car, this is my house, when really, okay, maybe that is how they live, but that doesn't mean they're happy. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that they're enjoying themselves. And so it's too fake, it's too phony, it's not really what I like. I like truth and honesty and being real, and you know, talking to you for half an hour is no big deal. I mean, you know, I wasn't going to do anything anyway. I was just going to be trying to edit some videos or something like that. So it's not like it's taking time away from me. Like you said, I get to make a new friend and have a good conversation. So it's all good, man.
No, absolutely. I didn't mean to bitch to you. I apologize.
Oh, it's all, hey, bitch to me. I want to hear the real stuff, man. Oh, let's get to the heart of the matter. Let's hear the real Keith Andrew. What's the real side? Got to let everybody know the real side, man.
No, absolutely. You know, you talk about, if you want to compare your Twitter better than mine, it took me free, because I used to buy things. They used to have Facebook ads, where, you know, I got paid like $3 for Facebook. It's like, okay, you have these many likes. But then that's when I and I mean to hesitate, I apologize. But one of the things was, I was like, okay, I don't want to pay anymore. But they still wanted the money. It's like, okay, we're going to fix it. We're going to freeze your account. So no one will like you. No one will do this and do that until you pay us.
Oh,
so it took 3 years. So for the longest time, I had 145 people on Twitter. That didn't change. And I had 0 likes on my fan page. People can follow me, hashtag KeithAndrewNetWork. 3 years later, or 2 years and a half, whatever. It was a long time. Now I'm up to about 462 followers, or 63, give or take. It keeps bouncing up and down. And
Well,
it's amazing because you mentioned Instagram. I tried using Instagram. I couldn't get into it. It's really bad.
Yeah, the thing with Instagram is you got to have great pictures. You know, it's not like, luckily, I mean, this is a secret between you and me. Most of the pictures on my Instagram, my wife takes them. And she doesn't have an Instagram account, and I just take the pictures and post them up there, and they're usually her pictures because she takes great pictures,
Right.
and she has a good eye. And so luckily, I have the benefit of being able to steal her pictures and put them on my Instagram, which you're the first person I've told that, by the way. So now everyone knows, but it doesn't matter. You know, she likes when people like her pictures and stuff like that. It doesn't matter that it's on my account. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, whatever, you know. I think that part of the problem too, for me at least, is there's always like a new thing. Like now it's Snapchat, and I'm like, I don't want to do Snapchat. I don't even want to do Instagram and Twitter. Like now you want me to do Snapchat, or, you know, there's like all these different WhatsApp and Kik and all these different apps, and I can barely keep up with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You know, so I that's the problem, is like people migrate to these different platforms, and if you're an early adopter, if you're someone that gets in on the ground floor, if you're the first guy on Snapchat, oh, you're going to have 1 million followers now because you were the first guy on there. So I just kind of do my thing, and, you know, if people want to find me, that's cool. If not, that's cool too. I'm just going to keep doing my own thing, man, and look just like you're doing. You know, it's awesome. It's inspirational, not just for someone who has a learning disability, but for anyone to be doing something. You know, most people, they sit around and they complain and they don't do anything to change their life, or they don't take a risk, and you're doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I congratulate you on that, because it inspires me to get out there and do more stuff too, because, you know, we have to take charge of our own life. You know, we have to be the star of our own movie, and just sitting on the couch and watching TV or sitting on the internet, you know, you're not going to have the life that you want that's going to make you happy. You have to go out there, take risks, do your own stuff, make your own stuff happen, make your own projects, your own art, whatever it is, and you're doing that, and that's awesome, man.
No, I really appreciate it. And we're being real. And, you know, I'm not like bullshitting. I'm not like ass kissing. You know, just going to that guy you mentioned, if you want to tell that story again. But going back to, there's a lot of fake people, like they put sunglasses on, or they sit there and like, oh man, welcome to my channel, I'm this and that. And they're so phony that, you know, yeah, it's laughable, but you're looking at, I'll give you a perfect example. I came across this one channel. This basically, this guy does backyard wrestling. He insults people. He's big, fat, and lazy. And he has over 7,000 people. And I'm like, okay, you're stereotyping people who like backyard wrestling, okay. You like people, a grown-ass man who play with toys or wrestling belts.
Right,
and
right.
It's how, comparing what I'm doing to you're doing, I think I'm doing a pretty better bang-up job compared to this guy doing flips.
Well, you know, nowadays, because of the internet and entertainment and TV and everything, it's so compartmentalized. You know, entertainment, you know, like some people like the Kardashians. They like to watch that crap. You know, some people like to watch Real Housewives. Some people like to watch Shark Week. You know, some people like to watch nature shows, cooking shows, all this stuff. And even on YouTube, that stuff is, you know, people like to watch wrestling, or haters, or people talk trash, or trolls, or whatever. And so there's different strokes for different folks. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't worry about what somebody else is doing. You just got to do your own thing, and eventually your audience will find you. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. Is, you know, I'm still waiting for my audience to find me. So
give it time.
Yeah.
Hey.
So did you have any particular questions about that video that you saw? I've already talked about it a lot. I mean, I respond to comments a lot, and if do you want to talk about it first, or do you want to ask a question, or?
Well, for my viewers who don't know anything about it, for the highlights of it, you're basically at a gym, and this guy was basically asking you, he wants to spar with you for 5 seconds.
Yeah. So apparently this guy is really well known on the internet. I don't know if you looked at some of his other videos.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. So he's been around. I mean, the oldest one I saw was like 2009. So that's like 7 years. He's been around for a long time. I'd never heard of this guy. I'd never seen him. His name's Charlie Zelenoff. And he asked me to spar, and I posted a video up about it because it was such a strange story. It would seem like only something that could happen in Hollywood, because there's a lot of weird people here and a lot of weird stories happen. So he asked me to spar, and you know, we went back and forth. Maybe you can link to my video at the bottom of this in the description or whatever, so people can watch the whole video, so I don't have to retell the whole thing. But ended up happening. I didn't end up sparring him because I wouldn't do it on camera, because I didn't know him, and he just seemed real weird to me. So I said, you know, let's just feel each other out, and let's do like a trial run is kind of what I was getting at. You know, let's just try it out, and then if it works out, then maybe we can spar on a regular basis. You know, because I like to, you know, I had sparred with my friend Cody, who's a martial arts instructor back in Florida, and getting ready for that movie that I told you about, Catching Junior Tate. I had a lot of fight scenes in that. So I would spar like 2 or 3 times a week getting ready for that movie, just so my body, I had the physicality of a fighter going into that movie. So I was thinking, oh, maybe this guy would want to spar regularly for a good workout, just for a cardio workout. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be a fighter. But man, if you hit a punching bag for 5-10 minutes, I mean, that's a really good workout. If you go all out and hit it for 5 minutes, you'll be breathing hard. It's a good workout. So I thought that what I said was reasonable. You know, we could spar. You know, he's like, I got to film it. And I'm like, well, why do you have to film it? That just seemed like there was a lot of red flags going on. That was like kind of the nail in the coffin. And I said, you know, okay, well, I'll spar you, but I don't want to film it. But maybe tomorrow, if we want to spar again, we'll film it. And then he backed down, and then I made a video about it. It's 2 parts, 2 separate videos, but basically it's one story. And then he made a response to it, and you know, everyone online keep telling me to respond to him, and that's not what I want my YouTube channel to be about. I don't want to be the guy that didn't spar Charlie Z, that just talks about him all the time. That's I'm kind of disappointed that that's what you wanted to talk about, to be honest with you, because I got so much other cool stuff going on. I've got a horror movie coming out this year called Hunter X that I have a supporting role in. I have this action comedy, Catching Junior Tate, that I play the lead role. I play Junior Tate, and hopefully that'll get released this year. So there's so much more going on in my life than Charlie Z. I don't really just want to keep talking about him. I will say I heard through the grapevine he got arrested a couple weeks ago because he knocked some guy out at an LA Fitness, and he got arrested for assault.
Well, if I may say one thing, that I didn't, well, I'm not obsessed with it. I just saw it and I just wanted to say it in passing. But you like said, there are other things. Like I really don't give a shit about the guy. It is probably some nut job. But
yeah.
No, go ahead.
Well, I wasn't. You're obsessed with him. I just it's fun. You know, it's funny because those videos on my YouTube channel, they have about 30,000 views a piece. You know, my other like hiking videos and stuff like that, I mean, they're getting like maybe 50 views or maybe 100 if I'm lucky. So it's definitely like a popular topic. People like to watch him spar and sucker punch people, or it's kind of like a car accident. You know what I mean? You kind of click on one and you can't look away. You got to keep looking at all of them. He did get arrested a couple weeks ago, I heard. He posted $10,000 bail. I have a feeling that most likely he's not going to keep doing this. I hope he gets some help, whether he needs medication or counseling or whatever he needs, or maybe just change the focus of what he's trying to do on YouTube. Maybe he can do like a prank channel. You know what I mean? He obviously doesn't mind getting hit. So I know a lot of these prank guys, they pull a prank and somebody wants to punch him. I mean, that maybe that's good for him. He doesn't mind getting hit. So do a prank channel or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, But going to a different subject, I mean, for you to get fired up about this, I didn't.
Oh, hey, I'm not upset at you. I just I get comments every day on those videos about why didn't you spar him, you pussy? You should have fought him. If it was me, I would have knocked him out. You're a pussy. And I don't know if you saw his response video to me. Did you watch that by any chance?
No, I just basically blocked his channel. It's like, I do some better things in the world. But I get through my day saying, you know what? I have my health, I have my family, and I want my talk show to take off. Watching garbage like that only pisses me off, and it gives me more motivation of getting my shit together. Saying, I want this talk show to really take off, and I'm not going to be sidetracked with other garbage. But I watched your stuff. It was really good. I'm a big fan of it. I'm looking forward to seeing more. Your stuff and my stuff are light years above whatever the hell he's doing. I have no idea what it is. But actually, to be honest, I'm using you for a motivation because you have 400 and something followers. So I'm using that as a motivation. It's like, okay, well, I just watch what you do. Or I give you a perfect example. I copy what my brother does. It's like I monkey see, monkey do. I see, okay, here's what I'm doing. This is what they're doing. What am I doing wrong? What can I do and change that? And you guys are a perfect inspiration for that.
Well, that's good, man, that you can stay humble and learn and stay teachable. And that's the most important thing for a happy life, I think, is as long as you stay open-minded and don't shut the door on any ideas until you try to apply them in your life. I mean, that's good that you can do that. A lot of people can't do that.
No, absolutely. And I even said to my parents, when I do become famous.
That's awesome. Where are you located?
Oh, New York. And actually, that's the next question I was going to ask you. But I'm from New York. I'm from West Point.
Oh, West Point, upstate?
Yep. You mentioned.
Cool. Yeah, what's that?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say when I was in high school, I was on the basketball team my junior year, and we made it to the playoffs. We made it. I think it was like the second or third round of the playoffs was up at West Point for the basketball tournament, and we ended up losing to Tuckahoe was the name of the school that we lost to. But that's the only time I've been up there. We took the bus ride up to West Point, and that was a good time. Up to the military academy, I guess.
Yes. It's over by Woodbury Commons. You ever been there?
Is that in New York or Connecticut?
New York. There's two of them. There's one in Long Island, actually there's three of them. One in Long Island, one in New Jersey, and one near West Point.
Yeah, no. The only time I was in West Point. Now, are you closer to Syracuse or like Rochester?
Rochester.
Okay. I went to school at Geneseo for a semester. My first semester of college, I went to SUNY Geneseo. So that's probably near you, right? Maybe a little bit?
I'm about 2 hours, I think, north, 2 hours north Manhattan. And I'm about between 6 and 8 hours from Buffalo.
Oh, okay. So you're closer to Manhattan then?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So do you go down to the city a lot?
And sometimes I've been working on it, but I deal with depression and social anxiety, and especially with all the terrorist attacks. That's actually adding more ammunition to being socially awkward, and once things quiet down, then I'm not a venture out. But I've been upstate, I've been to New Jersey, I've been to Connecticut, but going
Have you been to Canada? Have you been to Canada?
Oh, I want to, Bo.
Oh yeah.
What about you?
I have not been to Canada. I'd like to go up there. They're filming a lot of TV shows up there now. So that would be hopefully one of these days.
No, absolutely.
Do you have any desire to do this? Like, there's a little bit of lag. Do you have any desire to do like a talk show, like a Jimmy Fallon type thing, like a late night talk show, something like that?
No, absolutely. I watched Bill Maher, not recently,
Oh,
but I watched Bill Maher, I watched Bill O'Reilly, I watched The Late Show with Jimmy Fallon, Kobe
uh-huh,
O'Brien, and I'm
uh-huh.
very passionate about this. I really want this to turn into something, and I'm a professional wrestling fan, and
Oh,
and to be interested, funny story, I've been trying to get a hold of WWE. It's like, hey, you work with people with special needs. I have special needs. I even have my own talk show. So I guess I'm halfway there, but I'm just a tiny little speck on the radar. But I would love to work for the WWE or
uh,
NBC or Fox News. But yes, this is something I want to do until I die. I'm very passionate about it.
well, let me ask you this: do you ever watch TNA Impact?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to make any promises, but a friend of mine wrestles for TNA Impact, and I will ask him if he wants to come on your show. I don't want to tell you his name in case he is too busy and can't do it,
Right.
but he's a pretty big TNA guy. He's a pretty big star on TNA.
It's funny, Simba. We can always talk about that off the air. But, I actually reached out to Dixie Cotter. And the same thing. She just told me, like, well, talk to my agent. And basically, it's the same things about, yeah, we understand you're working with special needs, you're handicapped. But come back when you actually do something substantial. And I'm like, I've almost up to 300 people. What else do I have to do? But
Yeah, right. They
my
don't
fr-
understand that that is substantial. 300 people, that's substantial, man. And you know what? Pardon my language, but fuck them.
no, absolutely. Some people you have to tell to go fuck themselves
Yeah, but
because
I'm gonna reach out to my friend. I haven't talked to him in a while since I left Florida. And if you watch TNA regularly, you definitely know who he is. Um, and I'll see if I can hook you up with him.
no, absolutely. Now wrapping up before I pass the show back over to you for the last couple of minutes. It's funny we should be talking about wrestling. I interviewed Lenny Pablo. I interviewed Chris Harris. I interviewed Sonny Ono, Stevie Ray, C.W. Anderson. He's an okay guy. We had a misunderstanding. But we got C.W. Anderson. I got a lot of celebrity endorsements. But now, for people who want to get celebrity, there's a website called Celebrity C. I keep calling it CM. It's not CM. It's Celebrity VM, and I'm
Okay.
on there. Basically, doing a little plug for them. Go to celebrityvm.com. If you watch Game of Thrones, Star Wars, Star Trek, Power Rangers, any TV shows, Being Human, Almost Human, there's celebrities on there. You can pay on the cheapest is 20, the highest, I don't know, 500. Dennis Rodman, one's 500. But you can pay them, and you should be on there too because you're a comedian. And basically, they would pay. I'll give you a perfect example. I go to the website, celebrityvm.com. I see
Mm-hmm.
you. You
Uh-huh.
offering $30. I pay $30. And for that $30, you can say, it's my birthday, it's my son's birthday, I'm getting a wedding, having a wedding, whatever scenario you want to throw at, you
Uh-huh.
get to say because you're paying the person to say whatever they want. So I have Malena Perez, I have Brooke Tessmacher, I have Chrissy Hemme, I have Vince Russo, who's a good friend of mine. I have a lot of beautiful women on there from wrestling. And it's just a lot of people that, I interview like I said, I interview actors, actresses, models, CEOs, professional wrestlers, people who are handicapped, people who are not handicapped. I interview everyone and everyone. And I basically just sum up my show real fast, and I promise to pass it to you, is no one, except for one guy in high school gave me a chance. But no, besides him, no one gave me the opportunity. He says, you know what, I'm going to give you an opportunity. Or I think what you're doing is really wonderful. I want to help you because I want this to exceed. So I took it upon myself. I use a lot of people as an inspiration, as I mentioned in my past interviews, family members and whatever.
Uh-huh.
But the truth was, I'm tired of using my disability as a crutch. Go ahead.
I was just saying, yeah, that's good, man. You're doing great. I think that's awesome, and I applaud everything you're doing, and keep at it. And hey, don't stop here, man. Keep going as far as you want to go. You can do it, and nobody needs to give you any breaks or any chance. You create your own luck in this world, and that's what you're doing. You put in the work, and unfortunately, the results are not up to us. We don't get to decide the results. The only thing that we can control is the hard work that we put in, and you're doing it, man. So keep at it, and I'm sure good things will happen.
No, absolutely, and that's wrapping up. That's the perfect thing. People, except for that one guy, wouldn't give me an opportunity. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna start something, and I'm gonna reach out like I did you. I reached out to you, and I reached out to other people, saying I like to be remembered as a guy who came out of the blue and gave me an opportunity, because that says a lot about you. Because you're reaching out and giving someone an opportunity. But with that being said, wrapping up, was there anything you wanted to talk about? Anything you want to promote before we go?
Yeah, I mean, if you could send some traffic to my YouTube channel, I'm really trying to build that up. Got some amazing footage of my travels around the world. Got some amazing footage of my travels around LA and cool waterfalls and cool little hikes and spots like that I found, secret little hidden spots. And other than that, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the whole deal.
No, absolutely. Now, the last thing I'm actually wrapping up our interview, then we can talk off the air real fast, is when I first approached you, what was your honest opinion of me? And after being a guest on my talk show, I know we talked about a lot of hard-hitting things and the episode jumped around, but all my episodes are different. But with that being said, what was your honest opinion of me, and how do you feel now after being interviewed?
To be honest, when you first sent it to me, I was initially like, okay. Like, I kind of thought, like, okay, this kid friend requested. See, I'm kind of suspicious because, like, not you, but there's a lot of, like, scammers and people on Facebook, and, like, as soon as you accept their friend request, they ask you to like their page, or they try to tag you in some porno pic that they want to post everywhere with your name on it or something, or like sunglass. I've seen weird, like, sunglass advertisements and then my name's attached to it somehow, and it's like, I don't want any of that. So initially, when I got your invite, I was like, okay, another one of these. I friended him, and then he wants this. And at first, I thought it was just like a scam type thing, possibly. But I didn't really see. I kind of looked into you a little bit and checked out your page and saw what you were about, and it seemed cool. It seemed like a good thing to do. So after having this conversation with you, you seem like a great guy. I'm really proud of you. I think you're doing a great thing, and I think you're going to keep doing great things.
No, absolutely. I hope so too. But I get that away. I use LinkedIn. I use Stage 32. I use Twitter. I use Facebook. Anything,
Right.
and YouTube for that matter, when that easily works. I get myself out there, and you're right, there are a lot of people that are just full of shit. And people may say that I'm full of shit, but you know what? I can die happy knowing I'm doing something that I love. And you know what the problem is? It's people out there that takes advantage and ruins things for everyone else. You know, ruins things for you, ruins things for me. And it's like I'm working my ass off. Oh, but Johnny Go-Getter over here has to do some porno thing, has to ruin it for everyone, so now everyone thinks who gets a friend request, it's got to be spam. It's, you know, it's ridiculous.
Right, right. Well, hey, man, you're doing great, and keep on doing it, man. It's awesome, and you know, if down the road you want to have me on again, I'm down to do it again, man. Whatever.